everyone, and thank you for chilling with Millen. Today, I have the great privilege of talking to one of my old friends and peers, Doug Walker. He is super smart. You're going to learn a lot today. Doug, would you please introduce yourself? Let them know what you do at Microsoft.
Absolutely. I'm an intelligence TS working in the Midwest. Been with Microsoft about 5 years and got the opportunity to work with the Power Platform both in the modern workplace as well as in the Power Platform TS role previously. So really excited to be with you today.
Awesome. Thank you, Doug. I like to start these off a little lighthearted with a fun and unique fact. Can you give us one about yourself?
Well, as you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan.
That's right.
I don't know if that's unique. I think anybody who knows me probably knows I'm a bit of a fan.
I love it. No, that's cool. I definitely have some Star Wars fans I've interviewed. And you know what, folks, I will tell you this, if you have a phone a friend, like everyone has a phone a friend when they run into a stumbling block. Doug was my phone a friend. He still is my phone a friend for many questions I get. He's just so smart. And so it's an absolute privilege having you. Without further ado, would you go ahead and share your screen? Show us how you use Teams to achieve more?
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, I'm going to show you a little bit about how we can leverage Power Platform within Teams today. I'm going to do that from the context of the crisis communication application. And I'm using the crisis communication application because it's a great, simple application that allows me to demonstrate 3 of the 4 components of the Power Platform. Specifically, we're looking at a Power App now. We're going to do a little bit with Power Automate, and we're even going to use Power BI within this. And then maybe if we're lucky at the end, we'll get some time that we can take a look at a Power Virtual Agent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, Doug, this Power App, folks, just so you know, there is a little bit of pre-work in getting it set up, and I will include that in my link earlier. So this assumes you've already done that pre-work and you're ready to use it.
Absolutely. In fact, I've gone ahead and loaded the application over here to the side as well. So in the left navigation, I can see my crisis communication application. And the goal behind this is, as a user logging in at the beginning of the day, I'm going to want to be able to see the crisis communication application. I'm going to want to get in. I'm going to want to do a few things. Maybe I want to update and share my status. So I come in the beginning of the day, and part of the crisis communication application is not just providing communication from the organization out to the users, but the users communicating back to the organization. In this case, I'm going to communicate back to the organization where I'm going to be working today. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to say I'm going to work from home, and I'm going to pick the day. I'm just going to do it today. Tomorrow, maybe I'll go into the office, or maybe I'll take the day off. We'll just do today.
Yep.
And so I go ahead and submit that, and that updates in the background to a SharePoint site collection that my status for the day, so that that can be tracked. In addition, it's going ahead and asking me, do I want to notify some folks in the company? And I can click all company, or maybe I just want to notify the folks that I was going to work with today that I'm going to be out, and let them know so that they'll go ahead and get a message. So again, part of this is updating a SharePoint site collection on my status, and part of this is now leveraging Power Automate in the background that's going to go ahead and send out an email response to all of the folks that I flagged on the previous screen.
Oh, that's very nice. So
instead
of them going to Outlook or their company tools to let people know, this app just allows them to do that a lot quicker. And this is a big deal because I know a lot of companies are planning, when they do get back to work, or if they're at work now, how can they streamline things? How can they inform people of important communication? It seems like this is just a great interface to do that quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, so now I've communicated my status, what's going on with me. Maybe I'm even going to go further, and I actually need to make a request. And maybe I need to talk to personnel. I've got something that's come up due to the crisis. Maybe I've got a family thing. So I go ahead and put in a request. I need to talk to personnel, and I'll submit that. And so now I can go ahead and go back home. I've done both the updating of my status. I've made a request to the organization that's been posted. In addition, there are a few other things I can do. I could take a look at who's the emergency contact today. Today, I've got Megan Bowen. If I needed to reach out to her, I could go ahead and click on one of these links and follow up. In addition, I've got some links that have been posted out here by my organization. You can see I've got one for the Center for Disease Control, and I can actually click on that. It takes me right to their site. Kind of handy.
Yeah.
But it could also be me just publishing information around the crisis at large and what's going on in the organization. This could be as simple as letting folks know that the offices are closed, or letting them know that we have a new crisis communication application. And if they want to read more, they can click on here, get a little bit more information, so on and so forth. So
In
this
fact,
is
I like what I like about this, Doug. I'm just kind of thinking through. I know a lot of companies are handling this differently. Maybe they use Yammer, maybe they use SharePoint, but if most of their folks are using Teams every day, anyways, this is their one-stop shop repository for just important communication, right? And the one thing I know, Doug, that a lot of my customers want is they want modify this stuff, right? Like maybe they want to rebrand it, maybe they want to put their company logo on here. Can they update this and make it their own?
absolutely. In fact, you can open up the Power App itself and edit it. I'm going ahead and going into Power Apps through Teams, but I can bring up the Power App if I wanted to through the Power App, edit that Power App, update the information in it that I want to. Maybe I'm
Okay.
just changing out some graphics. Maybe I'm adding some additional, context or content to it. But yeah, I have all those options available to me.
Doug, is this going to cost them money? I mean, does it cost money, and how long does it take to deploy? Those are the two questions I'm going to get asked.
Well, how long it takes to deploy is kind of dependent on your knowledge and capability with Power Apps, but it's really not a long application to install. I think if you're comfortable with Power Apps, you've built them before, you're comfortable with importing automations, I would say probably 30, 40 minutes, less than an hour typically. To set this up. It's a pretty straightforward and simple application. And as far as what it's going to cost you, this leverages all the standard connectors in Office 365 that come with the O365 license. So you're not going to incur an additional cost unless, of course, you do go in and edit the app and use some premium connectors.
Gotcha. Okay, that's very helpful, Doug. So you walked us through that user view. I'm a user. I'm using it that way. What about the IT admin view? How can they manage this?
Absolutely. So again, the user view, they've got a certain view of how this works. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and instead of just snapping it into the left, I've gone ahead and added to the team the administration side of this. And so what you'll notice here is I've got a crisis management team that I've configured.
Mhm.
And within that, I've got a private channel for crisis admin. So within this, I'll go ahead and click on the crisis communication admin app. I've got the application for administering the crisis communication app itself. So this one's just designed for the admins to work, and it's going to have things in it like the admin settings, what's my email, my logo URLs, what do I want to turn on or off. But it's also going to be the location where I can add company news articles. And so if I needed to create a new post, I could go down here and do just that.
Gotcha. Okay. Very
Same
good.
thing. Yeah, same thing with a lot of the rest of this. The other piece within this that you'll notice is that, yes, I'm capturing all that information in the background based on either what I'm entering here as an admin so that it can be provided to my users, or what users are adding so that I can see, what is their work status, what questions do they have, what concerns, how can we help. And you'll notice that earlier I went ahead and put myself in as being out of office today. And so
Right.
you'll notice that I'm a small group today, but I'm out of office. It's showing my present status, and it's actually showing my location on the map. So that if I needed to know where my employee is today, I can actually reach out to them and see where they are.
Now this is using Power BI to generate that graph. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, this is actually a Power BI report that's been published to the shared workspace and then provided so everybody can see it. So
Okay.
one quick note, we talked about the licensing being available for everybody with this. This is one area where you would need a Power BI Pro license to be able to pull this up, or you'd need a premium capacity to be able to host this so everyone can see the report. Just kind of depends on your scenario.
I appreciate that transparency. And I mean, I know you only have one person out of office today here, but in a real life example, who knows? Maybe you have hundreds. It depends on the scale of your organization. And the cool thing, I think, is you could export that data in Excel too, if you wanted to play with the views, right?
Absolutely. Export that. This is still Power BI, so it's as simple as going up and clicking the ellipses and export data.
Okay, got it. Okay, so this is a great user view and an admin view. Is there anything else the admins can do before we move from this?
Yes, you remember that help request that we put in, right? Not just the emails that are going to go off that let people know that I'm going to be out of office or working from home or whatever my status is, but the help request itself actually posts to the team. Oh, okay. And you'll notice here, it looks like I've got an issue with Outlook. I don't think any demo would be complete without some sort of an issue. But it looks like my Outlook service is unavailable, and so it's denying some traffic and giving me some issues. Okay. But in a nutshell, what's happening here is it's trying to post that message out so that I can see that and post a message about it here in the team as well, so that the entire team can see what that new request is. It's not waiting in someone's email box for them to come and find it. No, so that kind of wraps up showing the Power App. the automations in the background that make these sorts of things happen. And then, like we mentioned back here in the crisis admin present status report, that Power BI piece.
Yeah. Okay, great. And so this definitely does complement the Power Platform very well, with it being an app, and you got the Power BI component and the Power Automate. So this is the bonus for the viewers. You know, the chatbots are kind of the evolution of where we're heading. Self-service tools, getting your questions answered quickly. So this chatbot is powered by something called Power Virtual Agent. And we're going to show you just how easy this was to set up. But Doug, walk us through how a user would interact with here.
As you can see, I've already done this a couple times, but what I've done in the background is I've wired this up to the CDC frequently asked questions. And so I'm able to type in questions based on prompts in the chatbot itself. And you can see the common one that I'm putting in here is, should I cancel meetings?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice that when I do that, what it's doing is it's giving me back the information straight from the CDC site, along with their guidance and their link. And so as I'm doing that, I'm getting the response that I need from the source that I need, because I've wired that up. But in addition, it's going ahead and it's asking me, did that answer my question? And part of the reason it's doing that is it's not only providing information to the user, but it's learning from the user as it goes. How good of a job have I done? Can I do better? And so as we look, let me give my response, 1 through 5, and I'm telling it, how to learn, how to be better as it goes.
Absolutely. That's great. So there's some artificial intelligence built into that. Okay. So my user, they're going to see this. They're going to say, well, this is pretty cool. This seems like it's going to take a lot of time. So can you show us very quickly how they would do this?
Absolutely. I'm just going to go over here to Teams. I'm going to open up my Power Virtual Agents. And from within this, we're going to go to the chatbot agent that we were just working with.
Okay.
And we're going to poke at the back end a little bit.
And while this is loading, again, we've been very transparent in this interview. I mean, is this going to cost money as well?
Unfortunately, this may well cost you some money, and it's going to depend a little bit on what you have the chatbot doing, how many concurrent conversations you want it to have. But we can include some links around licensing if you want to follow up on that later, or reach out to your local account team.
Okay, that sounds good. So, all right, so you've already started a chatbot project here. You're getting into it.
So I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and you can see I've got a few options, publish it, test it, and of course the all important topics within it, because when I look at a chatbot, really it's about the topics that I put within it. What are those suggested topics? What are the trigger phrases? What are the responses I've got? So as I look at this, a couple options, I could go up and I could say I want to add a new topic, and I could start typing in what the name of that topic is going to be, the description. I can add the trigger phrase. I can go through and do that. If I want to, but there are other ways. I can actually go in instead if I want to and give it a link to online content. And as long as this is in kind of a Q&A format, it's going to recognize that. And so what I've done to populate this particular chatbot is I've literally just borrowed the link here from the CDC site that has their frequently asked questions, and I'll paste that in here and I'll tell it, go ahead and add.
Oh, wow.
And so what it's going to do now is it's going to go through and parse that content. Now I've done it before, as you can see. That's how these questions get in here, but it's going to go through, and it may take a couple minutes, but it's going to go through and find the Q&A pairs within that. It's going to then build for me some suggestions, and you can see it's already populating some here. And then all I have to do if I want this question to be part of what I want to add is I can either select them all up here at the top or select the individual question and tell it add it to the topics.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. So it's just ingesting that data. You don't have to build those question and answer pairs. It does it for you, which means you could really stand up a bot very quickly if you use this method.
Yeah, I've actually had a few customers who initially started out with the idea that they've already got a frequently asked questions page, and they just leveraged that to start.
I love it. I love it. Doug, this has been so valuable. Thank you for walking us through crisis communication and Power Virtual Agent. I know I've learned a lot, and so have the viewers. We appreciate you chilling with Millen.
Thank you, and I'll see you on Teams.
See you on Teams.